And like it would be good to get more people involved, more markets involved. It is personally, as someone who does not watch baseball a lot, it is hard for me to get into baseball because the same teams always win because they're the ones that can spend the money.
I guess you can say that he came back guns a-blazing.
I still feel it up my crack.
Hello, 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 and welcome to Updog Sports Talk. My name is Matt Miller. Over here is Chad Bunn.
Yeah.
Down below is Justin McGovern.
Ended up at the bottom again.
Where you belong.
We have a wonderful show for you, not just because we prepared a bunch of content. We are covering, four sports?
Yeah, we couldn't decide what sport to cover, so we just decided to cover a bunch of them.
So here's a content. How would you say it? Just throwing up content to you.
Content creation.
We are going to start with the most exciting part of the show, the AFC playoff race.
Ay.
It's 6 through 11 are all within one game of each other, and if you count the Browns, they're all 2 games apart from each other. So there's still scenarios where the Browns completely miss the playoffs and brown themselves.
Yeah. Cleveland.
Bengals have a tough road. They have Steelers who, no matter who's their quarterback, no matter who is suspended or hurt or whatever, decide to play the Bengals tough. Then the Chiefs and then the Browns. The Browns, I looked it up earlier. I can't remember what it is now, but they have a relatively easy schedule. I think it's the Texans, Jets, and Bengals. It's the Texans, Jets, and Bengals.
And Texans likely without CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
Is he not playing this week?
No, he's been in concussion protocol.
Boo.
When you told me off camera that he came back, he actually didn't come back. He was out.
Yeah.
So, Texans are down to long neck.
They actually used Case Keenum.
I was gonna say Case Keenum thing one.
Yeah, and Case Keenum led them to a win over the Titans.
Because multiple outlets were saying that Davis Mills was gonna get the start this week.
Yeah, and then it was like last moment they were like, "Just kidding, Case Keenum's gonna play."
Hold on, he's from Houston. Let's throw him in. Give him a chance, coach.
It worked out. They did win, so
Uncle Rico finally got in the game.
It looks like the Ravens are going to lock in the number 1 spot.
Hey, don't forget though, the road gets tough for the Ravens here down the stretch though. They play the 49ers this week. They play the Dolphins. And then for whatever reason, that late season game against the Steelers always seems to get them too. So the Ravens better be careful.
They'll sit during that game.
Do you ever notice that the Ravens about this time of year, there's always somebody that gets hurt?
Yeah.
They have a hard time staying healthy.
Usually by this, they're actually doing pretty well this year because like usually by this time of year, they don't have most of their star players.
Right.
Actually, they don't even have most of their role players either.
Yeah, usually it's like Tyler Huntley or someone else playing quarterback. They got Devin Duvernay and Joe Schmo coming off the bench, a receiver.
Kenyon Drake last year.
Yeah, Kenyon Drake.
As it stands right now, the Ravens are the 1 seed and they get the bye. The Dolphins get the 2 seed and would face the Colts. The Chiefs would get the 3 seed and face the Bengals again. The Jags would get the 4 seed and would face the Browns. Texans, Bills, for now, the Steelers and Broncos are still in the hunt. I think the Bills can actually still make the playoffs. They're actually coming on strong.
I think the Bills look really good. I think that it's these kinds of teams that, sneak up on you, kind of like the New York Giants when they came up on the Patriots. It's like they were having a really rough season early on and they turned it around. I mean, the Bills been through it past 2 years, but I think this could be a team that could go deep into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, after the season I've had, I'm just waiting for the next shoe to drop for things to go wrong again. But if they keep running the ball the way they are and stick to it, this team is dangerous.
Speaking of things going wrong, go ahead.
If Buffalo wins, say they win it all, hypothetically, you think the city of Buffalo is just going to be on fire for like months? We've waited so long.
Probably. That's gonna be the craziest Super Bowl party ever. I might have to make a trip up there for that.
I'm saving my PTO for it, boys.
Updog
in Buffalo.
Speaking of the other shoe to drop, whatever you said earlier, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes were ripping the refs to shreds in their press conferences.
So show some grace, guys. You know, this is ridiculous that we're even talking about this. They got fined like $150,000 between the two of them, and it's like, how many times have they been on the other end of the ball there? You know, benefiting from penalties and stuff. They don't complain about it then, but here we go. There's a blatant penalty. Dude's foot's on the line.
Not just on the line. His body is covering up the football from the ref.
Right.
Yes, he did look at the sideline, but he glanced and looked back over, so he didn't give the ref a chance to be like, bro, scoot back.
And I don't know, I don't know if they gave him a warning or anything like that, but, it
didn't sound like a warning, but usually you look over at the ref and you point at him, and then he gives a thumbs up or he's like, scoot back.
Right.
And he never gave the ref a chance to respond.
So, I mean, it's on him. It's on, the guy's made bad decisions all year. So
plus they're calling offensive offsides more and more this year. I think we've already surpassed last year's total, or like the last.
I think we surpassed last year's total like in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, you think they complain about the borderline calls now? Like, okay, who cares, guys? Like, your run last year wouldn't have happened if a few borderline calls didn't go your way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like, it's ironic now that they're complaining that it turned on the other side. And especially ironic that Mahomes, they complained to Josh Allen about it. Like, Josh has just been, dude, you should have seen my year.
Yeah.
You should have seen the shit I've been for this year.
No, Josh Allen was like, what? What does that have to do with me? The game's over, dude. There's nothing I can do about it.
I'd be like, bro, we've been through so much the past 2 years.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. I know Mahomes is probably in that mode where he's just so mad. He's just got to tell everybody about it. Like,
I mean, we've all been there, but like, you also get those calls all the time. Like, Joe Burrow had a legitimate gripe multiple times to do that in the AFC Championship game. I think 2 years ago.
Yeah, and then last year, the fifth down.
Yeah. And then, moving on to college football, the transfer portal, the signing day was today, and then a bunch of people just jumped into the transfer portal also, just randomly on signing day.
Chaos, college football, 2024.
It really is. This is like the Wild West now. There's still tampering galore, which is the biggest thing that they just need to fix. I don't need to rant too much because I've already done it on their Twitter account tonight. But that the NCAA needs to quit worrying about dumb shit and just focus on the fact that people are literally recruiting guys on other teams. That's not correct in any sport.
I definitely think that they need to like take a look at. I mean, I'm for players getting paid because of how much they make in the game of college football, but I don't know if giving them, like in Marvin Harrison's situation, he's a great player and probably deserves the money, but give him 25 million in college, that's kind of ridiculous. I know it sounds crazy, but maybe even just compile it, pool the money in a fund, and it goes to scholarships for athletes and stuff,
And not just football players, like extend that to athletes that may not get scholarships.
Yeah. Give back to the community,
Yeah.
And I mean, don't forget also Arch Manning, third string quarterback for the Texas Longhorns. He made more money this year than Brock Purdy's going to make in his entire contract for the San Francisco 49ers right now.
Wait until he gets a real NIL, then we'll start.
Yeah, wait until he's actually the starter.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch any of the bowl games the past couple days?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
What was it? Western Kentucky's quarterback is in the transfer portal and then just lit. Who was that?
Yeah, so this Old Dominion. So
Old
this
Dominion.
guy, he's 6'6", looks like a freaking giraffe. I guess he entered the transfer portal before the game, but decided to stick with the team for the game. And then the quarterback was actually Clay Helton's son, who started the game. He was absolutely terrible, struggled miserably, threw a pick six to fall behind 21-0, and they're like, "All right, we're going to try the other guy." He comes in and just torches Old Dominion up and down the field and leads them back from down 28-0 to win the game. So that was pretty incredible. We had UTSA's coach last night get a cold coffee bath during the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl.
That sounds awful.
It does sound terrible. I think after the game, he said he was like, "I still feel it up my crack." Well, hey, when your program gets their first bowl win, you got to celebrate.
Yeah.
The Avocados from Mexico Cure Bowl was just in the biggest monsoon ever. The logo in the middle of the field was just falling apart and getting all over the players. It was just a hilarious mess, and Appalachian State won 13-9. 13 is also the number of fumbles that occurred in that game.
Shut up.
So there were some very entertaining games. Jacksonville State, Rich Rodriguez came back to beat Louisiana as well in overtime. So we've already had some thrillers this bowl season.
And Louisiana's quarterback just entered the transfer portal. So
why not?
Aren't they without?
I go for more money.
Quarterback? Aren't they without a quarterback completely?
They had another guy who started earlier in the year. He got hurt, and actually he got hurt. And they kind of stumbled into a quarterback that worked better for them, and then the quarterback that worked better transferred. So
yeah,
I think they have another guy who's still around. I would have to check if he's a senior, but they may have to hit the portal as well.
Did you see during signing day, Florida and Miami had so many high level recruits just flip their commitment away from them?
Yeah. Now Miami, later on this evening, actually kind of rebounded a little bit. They got a few guys from Florida State, and I think even flipped another guy from Alabama. So Miami kind of stopped the bleeding a little bit with the crazy amount of money they've been offering people. Miami's basic offering is, "Hey, we got all this NIL money. Come here, guys."
Yeah, but
win a lot of games, but
you'd think SMU and Miami already have a blueprint for how to pay players. You'd think it would be easy for those programs to just jump back up. But I tweeted earlier that Billy Napier and Mario Cristobal are on the hot seat if they can't turn around signing day. Sounds like Mario Cristobal is going to be okay for at least another year, but man, Florida's in bad shape.
Yeah, so they had one of the craziest collapses I've seen on signing day in a while. They were number 3 entering earlier this week, and now they're number 15. It is hard to fall that far this late in the recruiting cycle.
I mean, it's not that hard. It's just a signature on a different piece of paper.
And by the way, it does not get better for Florida. Guys, we got to go over Florida's schedule for next year real quick, because this is going to be bad. They opened the season with Miami, Florida, which, by the way, got to give them credit for playing an in-state game. They play Samford, so at least they get a win. Texas A&M at Mississippi State. At Mississippi State, at least that's a win. They play UCF, another in-state game. At Tennessee, first Kentucky. Then they have a bye week, and then this is where things just get bad. They play Georgia, at Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, Florida State. That is 3 of the teams that are in the top 6 this year. LSU, who had the Heisman winner, and Ole Miss, who has the best transfer portal class right now.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, I don't think they get through those first 5 games looking good either. That's not a good look. It's not a good look.
Yeah,
I don't think they. I mean, they could lose to Stanford. Who knows? I mean, Stanford has Emmitt Smith's son at running back, correct?
That is, that is Samford from the FCS level.
Oh.
Not Stanford, Samford.
I misheard you. with that sweet mullet,
Switching
muffling your
gears
voice.
here because we have a few more sports to cover.
Sports
We can-
ball.
Yeah, if we have more time, we can come back to this. But switching gears to NBA, John Morant made his season debut yesterday after his 25-game suspension. He had 34 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists.
Game
I
winner.
I guess you can say that he came back guns a-blazing.
You've waited so long for that one, haven't
So
you?
long, man. I had that locked in the chamber as soon as he got suspended.
He's a dog, man. John Morant's the truth.
He's really good at basketball, but he needs to get out of his own head.
Yeah, he
But the
needs to just
Grizzlies,
enjoy his
the
money.
Grizzlies are like 8-19, and then he has a statement win. As he's walking off the court, he has said that he kept receipts. So I think that he's gonna have one hell of a run here soon.
I mean, they were really good last year. I don't see why they wouldn't continue. He can stay healthy.
Yeah.
And he did. He was like a game-winning layup, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, and the Grizzlies may be back in contention. I mean, it's still what 4 more months of basketball that they can get back in it.
The NBA
However-
season's too long, guys.
I guess I was gonna say something before this, but I like the in-season tournament. I like the thought. I like the thought of the in-season tournament.
Kobe's turning over in his grave.
Yeah, he did say, well, he's turning in his grave because Kobe years ago said the only banners that hang in the Staples Center are finals championship banners.
You
The Lakers,
damn right.
the Lakers announced after they won the in-season, or after the in-season tournament was gifted to them, that they were going to hang a banner for it. That goes against what the Lakers were for from like what 95 to 2018.
Two things. One, tell me why you say it's gifted as a student who did not pay attention to the tournament at all. And two, are we sure the commissioner did not hold them hostage here and go, hey guys, we got to make this thing big. You better hang that damn banner up there.
First of all,
I don't
he
think
got
Adam
less-
Silver was involved in that.
He got
Second of
less
all-
viewership than Thursday Night Football.
Well, comparing basketball to football is like comparing apples to grapes.
But if you want to make a big deal and call it an NC, it's a regular season game as far as I'm concerned. That is not it's a load of crap as far as I'm concerned. They're celebrating nothing.
Kind of.
Getting a banner for nothing.
You didn't win anything. You just won a tournament. Just like AAU, you kind of get like a small trophy for tournaments, but you win the championship. Like that's the one the players care about most. But as far as the gifted comment, Justin, the Lakers are a bad basketball team and then just ran through that tournament. So
they got the team that didn't really have any big people on it.
they had Miles Turner and
you got to deal with LeBron and
Obi
Anthony.
Toppin. Well, yeah, they didn't have anyone beefy up the middle to stop that. So yeah, and Anthony Davis had like what 50 points, something like that in the yeah, whatever. It sucks. Moving on from the Lakers as a bad basketball team to the Warriors as a bad basketball team. Now I've seen multiple takes. Yeah, they are not playing well right now. Steph is the only one that can play basketball. Clay is a shell of his former self. Draymond just would rather punch people and choke them.
Get out of basketball.
Jay Williams of ESPN did shed a little bit of light as a basketball community on that. So there's guys that like in the NBA that just like to poke the bear on other players and get their attention turned off basketball and onto them. And that's what Draymond does. And you don't really see a retaliation. He punched Jordan Poole in the face last year, and Jordan Poole didn't do anything. But at the same time, the NBA also wants these guys to be the bigger person.
Literally hit Nurkic in the face. He kicked Steven Adams in the balls. I mean, he choked Rudy Gobert. I mean, the guy is not playing basketball. Put him in the UFC. Put him in the UFC. WWE.
If this was the 90s, he would have been suspended, and then Vince McMahon would have invited him to go wrestle him at WrestleMania somewhere.
Donald Trump and Vince McMahon would have been like, XFL, go play some football, brother.
But the new era of basketball, that's kind of uncalled for. That's kind of what you would see in the 80s and 90s.
Even back then, like they did. I mean, they did fight,
they didn't choke people, but
yeah, it's not just one aggressor consistently doing it.
Yeah,
he needs to take a step back and think about what he's doing.
Outside of his drama, though, the Warriors have like 3 young players. Andrew Wiggins is in his upper 20s, not playing great basketball this season, but had a really good year last year. Who's the other guy that they just got? Well, they're going to try to trade for Pascal Siakam, but the Raptors wanted, they have a young player that they drafted last year. They wanted him and 3 first-round picks and someone else. And the Warriors are like, nah, we'd rather keep the young guys and not almost a 30-year-old power forward that's struggling. Yeah. So they may end up making the playoffs if they are able to make a run, but it's Steph carrying that team. That's it.
I mean,
Chris Paul is a good 6-man, but he's a shell of his former. He's not the Chris Paul that we know and love.
My thing is with what happens to this team. I mean, they paid Steph. I don't know how much longer he has on a contract. They brought in Chris Paul. They gave Draymond Green money he doesn't deserve. Now you got to deal with Klay Thompson, right? His contract's up this year, isn't it?
I thought his contract was up last year, but I don't know how long his is.
So if he's on contract, or if until the end of the season, do you think he re-signs with Golden State after this, or do you think he goes?
No. Steph is under contract until after the 26th season.
Right.
So you got Steph. I can look up Klay here.
Klay's the one I'm talking about.
I don't think they bring back Draymond because they didn't want to pay him $24 million last time, but they ended up paying it because he's a Dennis Rodman type player. Doesn't put up a whole lot of stats, but will get the ball out to somebody else to get the rebound.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that team it's destined to break that team up. Some pieces are going to go other places.
Klay is under contract until after this season.
So, right. Yeah. So we're, I think he probably goes.
I think it's going to be a Scottie Pippen kind of thing where he leaves and he doesn't play well.
Yeah, I think that injury is a hard one to come back from.
Yeah.
And he's, good for him to come back. Did they win a championship with him again?
With Klay?
Yeah.
Yeah, they won like 3 championships with Klay.
No, I mean after his
injury. Asking like after injury.
I don't think so. I think he got hurt, and KD and Steph were. Yeah, I think KD and Steph were the ones that won the last championship. Switching off NBA and going to college basketball. Justin, you wanted to say something about mid-majors?
Yeah, so college basketball is in the regular season, and obviously when it comes to like some of the bigger teams, it's kind of hard to pay attention because it's so early in the year. I mean, when you're in a bigger conference, you can just win like a little over half your games and make the tournament basically these days. So where is the big basketball being played this time of year? It's at the mid-major level because these teams are the ones fighting for their lives. And there's 5 of them that I specifically want to call because they are having amazing years. First on the list, James Madison. We talked about how good James Madison.
We talked about Madison. This dude.
We talked about how awesome James Madison was in football. They're doing the same thing in basketball right now. Opening night, they took down Michigan State, and they have been rolling ever since. They're still one of the last 4 undefeated teams in college.
I bet you have James Madison branded on your ass cheek. He loves James Madison. This dude can't go one day without talking about James Madison.
They've been awesome this year. They've been
football
a lot
and
of fun
basketball.
To talk about.
He's
all right. What's your second team?
The second team, you guys may not have heard of this one, the Grand Canyon Antelopes.
I've heard of them.
They only have one loss all year. They beat San Diego State. This team actually might still be able to compete for an at-large bid if they could keep it rolling. Their only loss is to South Carolina, who only has one loss a year as well. And yeah, they're looking pretty good. And they have actually one of the surprisingly exciting home environments in college basketball. I actually watched the San Diego State game, and I was very surprised.
Who's your third team?
Indiana State Sycamores. They also another one-loss team, high-flying offense, and they're just exciting to watch in general.
Get it together, Matt.
Yeah, come on, Matt.
It's bronchitis, man. I can't help it.
And then the next team in the list is a team that actually went to the Sweet 16. Probably was the most underappreciated 15 seed to go to the Sweet 16 last year. The Princeton Tigers. They're back at it again. They beat Rutgers, and they beat a few other good teams. Their only loss was to St. Joe's. And this team is just rolling right now. And then finally, the last team on the list, I got the hat on, Appalachian State. They took down Auburn at home. A rare opportunity there.
Ding 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 ding.
Down, 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 down.
The Mountaineers.
You got pretty lips there, boy.
But yeah, they
Come and get our moonshine.
down the mountains, North Carolina. But yeah, they beat Auburn. One of their only losses was to UNC Wilmington, who actually beat Kentucky this year. So there's a lot of other teams I could talk about because there's a lot of teams that have been pulling off pretty cool upsets this year, but those are the five I wanted to mention.
Moving on to something a little bit more depressing.
Yeah.
Major League Baseball has had a big splash in free agency the past, week and a half or so. Shohei Ohtani signs a 10-year, $700 million deal with the LA Dodgers.
It's hard to say. That's a lot of to say.
Like in my head, when I'm saying it out loud, it doesn't sound right.
There's so much money.
He deferred almost all of it to the end of the contract. So he's only getting paid $2 million a year for the next, 9 years? And the Dodgers are free to just spend more money.
I found it very funny that everyone was like getting all excited about where he's going to sign and stuff. And then I see he signs with the Dodgers. Like, of course, the team with the most money signs someone again.
Yeah. And then to top it all off,
signed everyone.
Yeah, the Yankees got Juan Soto and then paid him like a couple $100 million. And then so it's basically MLB put out a graphic saying 100 days till opening day. And I'm like, 100 days till the race for the Dodgers versus the Yankees World Series.
Yeah.
I don't know. The Yankees kind of sucked last year. I don't know if the Juan Soto can really save them.
They got riddled by injuries last year.
Yeah.
But hopefully some of the small market teams with homegrown players, like the Reds made a big announcement to the world saying that they aren't going to suck forever. They had a lot of promise.
Saying that for 30 years.
We've been building for 30 years, guys.
Where else are you going to go?
Yeah. I'm so glad that I crop dusted that guy in a meeting.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
As an intern.
This is why, like, the rare occasion, like what the Diamondbacks did last year was a breath of fresh air. Like, I actually paid attention to playoff baseball because of the Diamondbacks run, and then they got destroyed pretty quickly in the World Series, so I stopped paying attention again. But
the reason why I brought
is so rare.
The reason why I brought up MLB is simply because I want to say, MLB, you need a salary cap. You need to block the big spending teams from being able to spend more money than everybody else's payrolls.
Right. And it's kind of like at a point too is where it's like too late because like, yeah, I definitely agree that there needs to be a salary cap because it's not a fair game. You got teams like you said, the Dodgers and Yankees, they'll defer 90% of his contract till his last year, but only pay him like $2 million every year and then you can go out and sign everybody else.
Yeah.
It's not really fair to a team like the Reds or the Twins or even Chicago. I mean, Chicago has money, but they don't have that kind of money.
And I would consider the White Sox more of a small market team because most of Chicago actually pays attention to the Cubs.
Cubs, yeah. It's just not really fair.
No.
I mean, I guess if you want to win more games, you better get more money. But that's not how the real world works,
No. Because at the end of the day, where's all the money going?
Right.
New York,
how are
LA,
you making that much
Chicago,
money?
Miami. Even though the Marlins are
Right.
considered a small market team, but
And like it would be good to get more people involved, more markets involved. It is personally, as someone who does not watch baseball a lot, it is hard for me to get into baseball because the same teams always win because they're the ones that can spend the money.
it was nice to see the Rangers win last year, though.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was, but it's
and the Amazon warehouse of a stadium.
You do like the Red Sox or the Yankees or the Dodgers or the Braves, these big,
Oh, even those cheating bastards, the Astros.
Yeah. Another huge market.
Yeah. And it's just getting annoying. MLB do better. Get some parity. Even if the NBA cheats and just gifts trophies to their superstars, at least the NBA has a little bit of parity.
Yeah, Cincinnati Reds, bring Trevor Bauer back. Come on.
Yeah.
Give me a pitcher. We got plenty of pitchers, but we could use one more. Just one more.
Wait, is that like old thing with Trevor Bauer still going on?
No, I think
they dropped the suit.
I was about to say that thing's still going on because like
he may have settled out of court, but they were gonna drop it, I guess, anyway. But just to feel comfortable, I don't remember how much it was, but he's off the hook. He's available to sign to any team.
Played in Japan last year.
He had a hell of a year last year.
Yeah.
We only have like 5 minutes left, but did you guys see Oregon State and Washington State for all sports other than football and baseball are going to the West Coast Conference?
Yeah.
No, I did not see that actually.
It was rumored that they were going to go to the Mountain West, and then all of a sudden, last minute, they're like, "Nope, West Coast Conference."
Yeah, it was very strange to me. I wonder if something fell apart with the Mountain West or what. But
who's in the West Coast Conference?
Gonzaga, St. Mary's.
That's about it. Loyola Marymount.
BYU was there for a little bit.
Yeah.
So pretty much like they're going on a BYU kind of arrangement, like when BYU was independent football for like a decade. That's pretty much what Oregon State, Washington State are doing at the moment.
Just floating out there.
Anybody else got any ideas of things to talk about in 3 minutes?
We got 3 minutes. We probably should just wrap this thing up.
I want to do a favorite of something, but I can't think of it. Favorite meat store, Manly Meats.
They did not pay Chad for that advertising, by the way.
I wish they would. Listen, I will push their product. Manly Meats is great, guys. You're in Decatur, Indiana. Find my Manly Meats. Go buy some short ribs. Get a hoodie. It's great.
By the way, Chad, we forgot to mention this. Welcome back.
Hello, guys.
Welcome back to the show. You've been gone for like 2 weeks. 3 weeks.
I've been gone for forever. In the middle of Ohio.
Yeah, that's the show.
That's Matt. This is Chad. Justin. He's got a mullet. We've got kids.
Yeah.
See you later, fools.
Give us a like, a subscribe, give us a comment, follow us on social media. We're now on Threads. Still figuring out how to work that thing. X is kind of where we're kind of doing the most.
Twitter. It's still Twitter. We're not doing what Elon wants to call it.
Twitter, X, whatever you
Daddy
want to call it. Just follow us on all social medias. You'll eventually be able to find some of our posts. See you guys.
Goodbye.
See ya, everybody.